So today we will read about the preamble of the Constitution. The word preamble is designed by the B.R. Sinha of Jabalpur and was tasked to design an artwork of preamble. Okay? The Constitution of India was handwritten by the Prem Bihari Narayan Rai Jada. The language and ideals of the preamble are borrowed from the USA, France, and Australia. The word federalism is not anywhere in the preamble. Socialist is not defined in the preamble. The American Constitution of India was first to begin with preamble. Many countries, including India, followed this practice. The term preamble refers to the introduction of preface of the Constitution. It contains the summary or essence of the Constitution. N.A. Palkhiwala, an eminent jurist and constitutional expert, called the preamble as the identity card of the preamble. The preamble of the Constitution is based on the objective resolution drafted and moved by the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and adopted by the Constituent Assembly. It has been amended by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, which added 3 new words: socialist, secular, and integrity. Text of the preamble. The preamble in present form reads: We, the preamble of the Constitution, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens. Objectives of preamble are justice. Justice can be social, economic, and political. Second is liberty of thoughts, expression, beliefs, faith, and worship. Equality of status and of the opportunity, and to promote among them all. Fourth one is fraternity. Fraternity assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, the 26th day of the November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Ingredient of preamble are: the preamble reveal 4 ingredient of components. Source of authority of the Constitution. The preamble states that the Constitution derives its authority from the preamble of India. Nature of Indian state: it declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republican polity. Objectives of the Constitution: it specifies justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity as of the objectives. Date of adoption of the Constitution: it stipulates 26 November 1949 as the date. Keywords in the preamble are: the 9 characteristics mentioned in the Constitution are sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Topic number 1: sovereign. The word sovereign implies that India is neither a dependency nor a dominion of any other nation but an independent state. There is no authority above it, and it is free to conduct its own affairs, both internal and external. Though in 1949 India declared the Constitution of her full membership of the Commonwealth of Nations and accepted the British Crown as the head of the Commonwealth, this extra constitutional declaration does not affect India's sovereignty in any manner. Further, India's membership of the United Nations organization also in no way constitute a limitation on her sovereignty. Being a sovereign state, India can either acquire or forgive foreign territory or cede a part of its territory in favor of a foreign state. Socialist. Even before the term was added by the 42nd Amendment in 1976, the Constitution had a socialist content on the form of certain directive principles of state policy. In other words, what was hitherto implicit in the Constitution has now been made explicit. Moreover, the Congress party itself adopted a resolution to establish a socialistic pattern of the society in its awardee session as early as in 1955 and took measure accordingly. Notably, the Indian brand of socialism is a democratic socialism and not a communistic socialism. Democratic socialism, on the other hand, follows the faith of a mixed economy where both public and private sector coexist side by side. Democratic socialism aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease, and inequality of opportunity. Indian socialism is a blend of Marxism and Gandhism, leaning heavily towards the Gandhian socialism. Secular. The term secular was too added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. Secular. Although the word secular state was not expressly mentioned in the Constitution, there can be no doubt that the Constitution makers wanted to establish such a state, and according to the Article 25 to 28 guaranteeing the fundamental rights to freedom of religion have been included in the Constitution. The Indian Constitution embodies the positive concept of the secularism. All religions in our country, irrespective of their strength, have the same status and support from the state. Democratic polity as stipulated in the preamble, is based on the doctrine of popular sovereignty, that is possession of supreme power by the people. Democracy is of two types, indirect and indirect. Indirect democracy, the people exercise their supreme power directly, as in the case of the Switzerland. There are four devices of direct democracy, namely referendum, initiative, recall, and plebiscite. In indirect democracy, on the other hand, the representative elected by the people exercise the supreme power and thus carry on the government and make new laws. This type of democracy, also known as representative democracy, is of two kinds, parliamentary and presidential. The Indian Constitution provides for representative parliamentary democracy, under which the executive is responsible to the legislature for all its policies and actions. Universal adult franchise, periodic elections, rule of law, independence of judiciary, and absence of discrimination on certain grounds are the manifestation of the democratic character of the Indian polity. The term democratic is used in the preamble in broader sense, embracing not only the political democracy but also social and economic democracy. This dimension was stressed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in his concluding speech in the Constituent Assembly on November 25, 1949 in the following ways. Political democracy cannot last unless there lies at the base of its social democracy. What does social democracy mean? It means a way of life which recognizes liberty, equality, and fraternity. The principle of the liberty, equality, and fraternity are not to be treated as separate items in the Trinity. Liberty cannot be divorced from the equality, equality cannot be divorced from the liberty, nor can liberty and equality be divorced from fraternity. Without equality, liberty would reduce the supremacy of the few over the many. Equality without the liberty would kill indirect individual initiatives. The Constitution and vision to establish an egalitarian social order, rendering to every citizen social, economic, and political justice in a social and economic democracy of the Bharat Republic. A democratic polity can be declassified into two categories, monarchy and republic. In monarchy, the head of the state, usually king or queen, enjoys a hereditary position, that is, he comes into office through succession. Example as Britain. In a republic, on the other hand, the head of the state is always elected directly, indirectly, for a fixed period. Example as USA. Therefore, the term republic in our preamble indicates that India has an elected head called the president. He is elected indirectly for a fixed period of 5 years. A republic also means two more things. One, vesting of political sovereignty in the people and not a single individual like a king. Second, the absence of any privileged class, and hence all public offices being open to every citizen without any discrimination. Justice. The term justice in the preamble embraces three distinct forms: social, economic, and political. Political, secured through the various provisions of fundamental rights and directive principles. Social justice denotes the equal treatment of all citizens without any social distinction based on caste, color, race, religion, sex, and so on. It means absence of privileges being extended to any particular section of the society and improvement in the same condition of backward classes as CSTs, OBCs, etc. And women. Economic justice denotes the non-discrimination between people on the basis of economic factor. It involves the elimination of glaring inequality in wealth, income, and property. A combination of social justice and economic justice denotes what is known as the destructive justice. Political justice implies that all citizens should have equal political rights, equal access to all political offices, and equal voice in the government. The ideal of the justice, social, economic, and political has been taken from the Russian Revolution. Liberty. The term liberty means the absence of the restraints on the activities of the individual and at the same time providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. The preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith, and worship, through their fundamental rights enforceable in court of law in case of violation. Liberty, as elaborated in the preamble, is very essential for the successful functioning of the Indian democratic system. However, liberty does not mean license to do what one likes and has to be enjoyed within the limitation mentioned in the Constitution itself. In belief, the liberty conceived by the preamble or fundamental rights is not absolute but qualified. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity in our preamble has been taken from the French Revolution. Equality. The term equality means the absence of the special privilege to any section of the society, the provision of adequate opportunity for all the individual without any discrimination. The preamble secures to all citizens of India equality of status and opportunity. The provision embraces three dimensions of equality: civic, political, and economic. The following provisions of the chapter of the fundamental right ensure civic equality: equality before law, Article 4; prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, Article 15; equality of opportunity in matter of public employment, Article 16; Abolition of untouchability, Article 17. Abolition of titles, Article 18. There are two provisions in the Constitution that seeks to achieve political equality. 1. No person is to be declared ineligible for inclusion in electoral rolls on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, Article 325. 2. Election to the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies to be on the basis of the adult suffrage, Article 326. The directive principles of the state policy, Article 39, secures to the man and woman equal rights to an adequate means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. Fraternity. Fraternity means a sense of brotherhood. The Constitution promotes this feeling for the fraternity by the system of single citizenship. Also, the fundamental duty under Article 51A says that it shall be the duty of every citizen of the India to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional, and sectional diversities. The preamble declared that the fraternity has to ensure two things: the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. The word integrity has been added to the preamble by 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976. According to the K.M. Vinci, a member of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly, the phrase dignity of the individual signifies that the Constitution not only ensure material betterment and maintain a democratic setup, but that it also recognizes that the personality of every individual is sacred. This is the highlighted through some of the provision of the fundamental rights and directive principles of the state policy which ensure the dignity of the individual. Further, the fundamental duty is Article 51A, also protect the dignity of the woman by stating that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to renounce practice derogatory to dignity of women, and also makes it duty of every citizen of India to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. The phrase unity and integrity of nation embraces both psychological and territorial dimensions of the national integration. Article 1 of the Constitution describes India as a union of states to make it clear that the states have no right to secede from union, implying the indestructible nature of the Indian Union. It aims to overcoming hindrances of national integration like communalism, regionalism, casteism, linguism, succession, and so on. Significance of the preamble. The preamble embodies the basic philosophy of fundamental values, political, moral, and religious, on which the Constitution is based. It contains the grand and noble vision of the Constituent Assembly and reflects the dreams and aspirations of the founder father of the Constitution. In the words of Sir Aladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, a member of the Constituent Assembly who played a significant role in making the Constitution, the preamble in our Constitution expressed what we had thought of, dreamed so long. According to K.M. Munshi, a member of drafting committee of the Constitution Assembly, the preamble of the horoscope of our sovereign democratic republic. Pandit Thakur Das Bhargav, another member of the Constituent Assembly, summed up the importance of the preamble in the following words: the preamble is the most precious part of the Constitution. It is the soul of the Constitution. It is the key to the Constitution. It is a jewel set in the Constitution. It is a proper yardstick with which one can measure the worth of the Constitution. Sir Ernest Barker, a distinguished English political scientist, paid a glowing tribute to the political wisdom of the authors of the preamble. He described the preamble as the keynote to the Constitution. He was also moved by the text of the preamble that he quoted it at the opening of his popular book Principle of Social and Political Theory, 1951. M. Hidayatullah, a former Chief Justice of the India, observed preamble resembles the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. But it is more than a declaration. It is the soul of our Constitution, which lays down the pattern of our political society. It contains a solemn resolve to which nothing a revolution can alter. In the Barubari case, 1960, the Supreme Court said that the preamble shows the general purpose behind the several provisions of the Constitution, and it is the key that mind makers of the Constitution. The Supreme Court especially opened that the preamble is not a part of the Constitution. In the Kesavananda Bharti case, 1973, the Supreme Court rejected the earlier opinion and held that the preamble is a part of the Constitution. It is observed that the preamble is extremely important and Constitution should be read and interpreted in the light of the grand and noble vision expressed in the preamble. In the LIC of India case, 1995 also the Supreme Court again held that the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution. The two things should be noted: the preamble is neither a source of power or legislature nor the prohibition upon the powers of the legislature. It is non-justiciable, that is, its provisions are not enforceable in court of law. Amenity of the preamble. The question as to whether the preamble can be amended under Article 368 of the Constitution arose for the first time in the historic Kesavananda Bharti case, 1973. It is urged that the preamble cannot be amended. It is not a part of the Constitution. The petitioners contended that the amending power in Article 368 cannot be used to destroy or damage the basic elements of the fundamental features of the Constitution which are enshrined in the preamble. The Supreme Court held that the preamble is part of the Constitution. Opinion tendered by it in the Berwari case, 1960, in this regard was wrong and held the preamble can be amended subjectively in the Constitution, that no amendment can be done to the basic features. The preamble had been amended only once so far, 1976, by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which has added 3 new